Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reed-Enever and welcome to another Business Skills webinar. We are about to take a break. So Karen is our last guest before the Small Business Skills Summit we work on this August coming up. And Karen Hollenbach is here today to talk to us about how we can actually unlock LinkedIn for business. Now, as business owners, and especially for those of you in the Facebook group, we tend to know Facebook quite well. But LinkedIn is one of those tools that is continually changing. And I know some of you are going to say, but we had Joe here talking about LinkedIn in the year. So much has changed on LinkedIn since we spoke to Joe earlier in the year. There is so much to catch up with. And Karen is here to help us today understand the power of LinkedIn. And she's got some special little offers for you as well, for you to look at doing some training and support with her throughout the process. So I'm going to pop those in the chat box a few times throughout the day. Melanie, thank you for sharing your area. Karen, welcome for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Can you tell the guys a little bit more about?
Yes, well, I am an independent LinkedIn consultant and I work with individuals and organisations to help them unlock LinkedIn. I like to call myself a storyteller because I do believe everything we've all done up until this point is a really important part of how we engage with people online. Yep. LinkedIn has been a really powerful tool for me and my business. So my business is Think Bespoke. We're a boutique consultancy that, again, works with individuals and organisations on LinkedIn and their content marketing strategy. And really, I first traversed LinkedIn post, I think, redundancy, when I was shedding my ex-corporate skin. And so I originally saw it as a job hunting platform, and it very much still is, but I think it's really shifted. Jeff Weiner, the CEO of LinkedIn, believes that it's his job, because we're all busy professionals, to create our news. So the shift has really been, it's become a content marketing platform, and it's also a really great place to continue face-to-face conversations or Facebook group conversations. And it's same but different from Facebook. So I think all of these platforms give you different options for conversations depending on where your clients, your stakeholders, your collaborators play. So yeah, really, I like to explain to people that I do take a relationship-based approach. So there's sort of two ways you can navigate LinkedIn. One is a transactional approach where you invite as many people as you can to connect, Linda, and then you export all their emails and you put them into your funnel.
And if you do that to me, I'll kill you.
Yeah, I will block you. You will be dead to me.
You'll be blocked.
That's not how I suggest you approach LinkedIn. And I think that some people are just not exactly sure how to approach LinkedIn.
There's a bit of feedback coming through, Karen. We're getting on the Facebook end. I had myself come back a couple of times through you. Can we try the headset? Yeah. Just going to try the headset, guys. Thanks, Nikki, for letting us know. Morning, Kelly. Morning, Kylie.
Now, I have to tell you all something very funny. I have two headsets here and I have this ongoing
battle. Let's see if this works. I thought it was my end, but
my son's just turned 13. Is that better?
That's coming through better. Is it now? Just if everyone else is having the feedback, just see if you can let me know. I'm watching the live stream, which is delayed slightly to us. If you're on the webinar, just pop in the chat box and let us know if that feedback has disappeared.
Okay,
guys.
hopefully that's better.
What we want to do is have you not being able to hear or listen to us. It's coming through a lot better on my end. Okay, I'm getting lots of thumbs ups and like signals, so that would say to me
it'll be better for the recording if those aren't joining us live.
Yeah, we will get that all sorted. Guys, the other thing that we've got, Karen, just to give you a bit of a run, I've got everyone saying sounds good, beautiful. That's fantastic. We've got a combination of people here, and I just thought I'd give you an idea. Lots of people, the common theme that's popped up is I've got a LinkedIn page, but it's sitting there. I've let it sit. And yes, they most probably spoke to me at one stage. I said, claim your real estate. You'll get there eventually.
Yes.
Here's your eventually moment.
Yes.
Yep. So hopefully that will happen very, very shortly. Yeah. So hopefully that will help you guys move the way through over the next little while. Yeah. So bear with me. Yep. Okay. We're good now. We're good now to go.
Okay.
Everyone's saying we're good now to go.
Okay.
Gee, this watching too. I don't know. I worked last week how to watch the live stream and follow the chat for there as well as here. Live stream chat moves a lot quicker than the chat here. I can't scream back.
You're amazing. Because I said to Linda at the start, for those who are tuning in, I said, oh, look, I'm quite good at keeping track of chat, but, and she said, no, I'll do that for you. And I thought, oh, great. So do really want to encourage that interactivity. So just bear with us, guys, as Linda's trying to, keep. I can see 5 comments on the chat, so I can't even see what's on Facebook. So.
Okay, so our Facebook chats are pretty much at this stage. And guys, if you're on the Facebook Live or the stream here, pop your LinkedIn links within the profiles here so that we can all get together and touch base with each other throughout the process. Now, if you want to ask a question and guarantee that it's answered today, head along to the business/skills page.com.au/skills, jump into the webinar, because we can answer the questions live here, and I'm going to see them because you're going to put them in the Q&A box, and it's all going to work really, really well. So if you can head along to that one, that will help us out throughout the process. I'll let Karen continue on. We've done our housekeeping.
Great. Yep, great. So just pause me, Linda. If I'm on the flow and you see there's questions there and I need to sort of go back, just let me know.
There's a school
right, so
there.
that's
Put
me.
my hand up.
Okay, I'll try and look. I know I'm keeping track of you there. So that's me. I'm the founding director of Think Bespoke. I think I did introduce myself right at the start, but I'm not sure if that was in the pre-Facebook Live.
Introduce yourself again.
Okay, so I established Think Bespoke in 2010. It was a byproduct of shedding an ex-corporate life and seeing if I could live the life I imagined for myself. I never really aimed to run my own business, but the goal was really to create some flexibility in my life. I had two really young children at the time. They're 10 and 13 now. What I discovered is that I have quite a unique approach to how I manage my online presence. And this is quite a common approach for people now, but it's really just looking at how do I continue conversations online. So I've worked with both people in the career space and probably now more in the business space, so individuals and organisations, and help them how to unlock LinkedIn. And importantly, and implied by the name of my company, we take a very tailored approach. So while there are some key principles with how to navigate LinkedIn, we do really look at each business individually. So if we're not connected on LinkedIn, this is your opportunity to please invite me to connect on LinkedIn. As we said, I will be covering off as many questions as we possibly can, and I'll look out in the group later on too if you watch this as a replay. But if you've got
I haven't shared it there yet. That's a good point.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Right. Good. Glad I said that.
I'm glad someone else is here with me with this cold head this morning.
You've got so much going on over there, Linda. So if there's something that's really specific to you that you don't want to ask publicly, I'm more than happy for you to message me. And as time allows over the next week, and certainly over the next day or two, I'll have a look and hopefully can help you. Now, when we talk about LinkedIn, I really like to talk about this idea of the LinkedIn journey. And with the hundreds of people that I have written profiles for and the thousands of people I've trained across Australia and beyond Australia's shores, I really do think that there's sort of a cycle or a journey that people go through. And it's interesting because Linda, I nearly called you LinkedIn, Linda.
That's I've done that to myself before.
LinkedIn, Linda. At the start of this said, yep, I've encouraged you all to claim your real estate, but what do you actually do when you're on LinkedIn? And I call that LinkedInitis. So I know I have, I've got a profile, I might even have a company page, but I'm not really sure what to do when I'm there. And I really find that when people engage my services, they apologize to me. And I find that really interesting because they say, oh, look, I first approached, oh, look at that. I've got sunshine coming right on my forehead. I know the sun is shining.
That's okay. You're building up the top, so it doesn't matter right now. So
right. I choose to sit by a window where I write and work. So what's interesting is I find that LinkedIn is on a lot of people's important to-do list, but not their urgent to-do list. And the best analogy I can give you around LinkedIn is that you need to tend to your LinkedIn garden, but hopefully you'll walk away from today with a sense of, okay, I know what I need to do first. I know what I need to be doing more of. And importantly, the reason I like LinkedIn so much is because I don't have to spend a lot of time on it to get results. And results for me are getting into conversation, staying top of mind, sharing content that's valuable. And it's based on a content marketing strategy, but that's only the third part of what I'm going to talk about today. You can do the first two without that. So it really starts with understanding, then it's about branding. So really today is showing you what I would like you to think about from a branding point of view. And I find that when you've thought about your branding on LinkedIn, you're a lot more confident to follow some of my steps around networking.
Absolutely.
And then it comes down to daily rituals. So if you've got it on your phone, where's my phone?
Absolutely. I do 90% of my LinkedIn on my phone.
Bingo. And so it's really just about, it's for the ladies, it's about your pelvic floor exercises. Do them every day. For the men, you might have to shave every day unless you're hipsters and you're not into shaving. That's okay. But really, it's what you do every day. Gretchen Rubin, who writes about daily habits, talks about it's what you do every day. More than what you do once in a while. So it's really just coming down to those daily rituals. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And then thought leadership is if you really want to get your sort of game on LinkedIn. And you don't have to do that. Like if you don't write, if you don't have a content plan, if you're not posting from other platforms, you take more of that voyeur approach. which is fine. You can still do lots on LinkedIn without doing regular posting. So I'll talk a little bit about that too.
Now, guys, for those of you who have Business Life Planner, you know that daily task section in the planner that we talked to about the regular daily tasks? Checking in on your LinkedIn is one of those things that you should be adding to your daily tasks and your master task list. So get in there, pop those details in there so that you are making the most out of that planner and actually using it and putting these tasks in. Karen knows me most probably well enough by now that I'm all for taking action, and that's really what I want everyone to do out of today is take action, do action. It's been ages since I've seen you in person, but you know.
I think we first met we first saw each other face to face at the Melbourne Blog-In.
Yes, we did.
We somehow, but I sort of knew of you. That's how crazy the online world works. We can sometimes know of each other before meeting each other.
I was going to say the Melbourne Blog-In was my first arrival back to Victoria. That one.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was still in Queensland,
by the way.
Yeah, I know another one. Don't know.
All right, so
see how we go.
This here is really dealing with the fact that the world has changed, and whether we like it or not, people do search for us online. So when you're thinking about LinkedIn, you really need to take control over what people can find out about you online. Now, if you tend to lead your business conversations via Facebook, this may not apply to you as much. I'm just going to move that. Excuse me 1 minute. I'm just going to get the light out.
Time to get the sun out of your face. Guys, if you've got any questions for Karen regarding LinkedIn, or if you're going through the process while we're doing this one, pop your details through. I'm doing the same thing. I'm only posting to all panelists. Bear with me. I will post to panelists and attendees. Here is the wonderful my LinkedIn link, guys. Gosh, this is
there we go. Right,
good one for technological stuff. Karen, can we pop your LinkedIn link in too for everyone to be able to find you nice and easily into the
I can. Let me have a look. You can't find me, Linda, can you, on LinkedIn and drop my...
I most probably can, actually.
That
would just be so fun.
I've got this all set up. I was saying to Linda, I've got myself a big screen. And I don't know myself.
I don't know. We're not connected on LinkedIn at all. I can't find you. No, of course I can.
Are you serious? What are you saying? All right, so the world has changed. So what really happens now, and I'm not telling anyone anything here that they don't already know, but it's just an important reminder, is that all of the platforms you spend time on are searchable. So unless you've locked down your privacy settings on Facebook, your comments on Facebook are searchable. So the question you have to ask yourself is, when someone Googles your name, I'm trying to get out of this sun, when someone Googles your name, what do you want them to find out about you? And I just like my LinkedIn profile being the first thing people can find out about me. So if you've got a well-optimized profile, which just means fill in all the key details, it means you're really taking control of your online presence.
Gosh, my phone in the background. Sorry, guys.
All right. So in terms of the platforms businesses are using, this is from the Census Social Media Report that looked at, I think, about 800 people around that in Feb. And really, LinkedIn is used by the majority of large businesses, 41% of medium-sized businesses, and 35% of small businesses. It has a slight skew to men, only slightly. They tend to be, people on LinkedIn tend to be 30 plus, more educated, and it's got the highest penetration of people over 55. CEOs are said to spend time on their daily, and it's where they get their news. But it's certainly, Linda, not the same behaviour as Facebook. So
absolutely not. Yeah,
it's really, really different. So I'm just going to pull down this blind again. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Nice. Nikki has said that she's a bit slacked on LinkedIn. For Facebook, LinkedIn, the same feel for Facebook, adding value every day. Look, LinkedIn. Now, I'm going to talk about this from my personal point of view and what I say with clients in responding to Nikki's question. And sorry, I'm going between screens, guys. Today we're trying to manage doing our first.
You're amazing. I think it's amazing that you can do it all.
Personally, my theory is with LinkedIn, you share what you have value for. Karen was saying to you, she left her corporate world. I used to recruit off LinkedIn back in my days with Drake. So LinkedIn was my absolute gold mine of, I need an engineer. Who's got an engineer? Yeah. I'll give you a bonus if you've got one. It used to be that gold mine for us, but the market is different because and it didn't start as a social network friend to friend. It started as a professional network. So LinkedIn for me, I joined in 2000. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I know. That's like saying something, isn't it?
Well before me.
So I joined in 2000 and I've watched it grow over that period of time. I must admit, when we launched Family Capers, I went quiet on LinkedIn. I went quiet from the parenting. You know, there wasn't my target market there, and it was still very, very corporate in those days. But LinkedIn's about adding value and educating your market. There's stories. We were talking about native video before we kicked off, Karen. There is so much stuff for you to be able to be out there and use it. But if you're looking for a B2B market, especially, you need to be playing there.
Absolutely. And I think it's where big business plays, and whether or not you want to play with big business or not, it's you've got to be in the conversation. And so much of what I do on LinkedIn is not necessarily people, you know, a direct, okay, come and book me or come and be trained by us. It's more people will see people that you're connected to that have worked with you over many, many years, or your friends or your connections, and anyone that you're connected to will, based on the activity you share with them, refer you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'll talk about, and that's, LinkedIn is a massive platform for referrals.
Actually, you want to talk about LinkedIn back in networks and back in days, and this is a true story. I, as I said, used to work for Drake, used to use all of the things out there. So I was still connected with all my Drake colleagues and my bosses from Drake, including the chairman, who's based out of Canada. When I launched the book of PR tips, he bought a copy of the book, and the only place he could have got it from was LinkedIn. It's the only place that I shared that book, and I shared the details of it, that we were connected. So that was the only place he could have found the book. And, you know, 5 years after not working for him and having a baby, he finds the book.
Yeah, and this is, you know, don't be afraid to share your story. I do believe that people want you to be successful. And I especially think that people have worked with you previously. And if I think of some of the biggest conversations I've got into, so larger organisations or higher value, it's been ex-bosses, ex-colleagues saying, you should talk to Karen, you should talk to Karen, you should talk to Karen. So they might never engage with any of my, well, I don't know that they do, they might click through, but they might not like or comment, but everybody's watching on LinkedIn. Exactly. And it's a lot more voyeuristic than maybe other platforms where you're sort of aware. Instagram, you kind of know people going into conversations with you. Facebook, it's more conversational. LinkedIn, everyone's just observing. And this is the opportunity. And this is what I'm going to talk about in terms of how to unlock it. So when I look at the 3 ways to unlock LinkedIn for business, there's 3 areas that I look at branding you and your business, professional networking, and content marketing. And so don't get confused about, oh, hang on, you've shown me this LinkedIn journey. That's just really for your headspace around sort of the flow of LinkedIn. This is where the magic happens. Yeah. So in terms of branding you and your business, I look at 2 key things. And it sounds like, Linda, you've done some work with everyone on what that might look like. And hopefully I'd say Jo would have definitely covered this.
We've all spoken about branding, I think. But we keep going because we've got new members in the group.
But don't really be too active on LinkedIn unless you're going to tend to your LinkedIn garden and look over LinkedIn, the lens that I'm about to sort of give you. So there's a LinkedIn profile, there's a LinkedIn company page. Hopefully most of you are familiar with sort of how to create them or how to sort of play with them. This is Ralph Travato. So he's a client of mine. He is, I think, the state or national manager for Lansky Construction. So he's not an independent business owner. He's a sort of a leader within a large organisation. And I love using his profiles as a best practice example because he's put a lot of thought into his picture. He deals with architects. He's got a background image. Now, this is the old format. It now shifts to the left, but this is what it would look like on the phone. He's using his headline really well. I think he's probably dropped Lansky Constructions into his headline now. So people looking at him that are thinking about doing business with him get a strong sense of what he's like. And here's the thing, Linda, and I'll talk about this in detail in a sec, but you really need to be thinking about writing your profile for people who don't know you, because once I connect with you or if I know you, I'm probably not going to look back at your profile.
What do you mean?
And I say this often
on a daily basis?
No, so once you connect, so it's really those people that, you know, you're pitching, you're in the conversation, you're wanting to get into conversations, really write your profile for them. Don't be writing your profile for people that already know you. And this is really tricky. I find this for consultants and coaches especially. They sort of look around at each other and what they're all doing. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else and just get into your own lane. Go hard down that lane. So here I've got some examples of what my profile looks like. You can have a look on LinkedIn. Hopefully you've invited me to connect. If we're not connected, I've sort of got that headline on steroids there. So mine's got a few extra details beyond what Ralph had. And you can see here that the company page feature allows you to put your logo in your experience section. So they're just 101 of branding your profile. And if you're not on branding yourself on LinkedIn. If you're not doing that, you should be. So please tend to your LinkedIn garden. But people will say to me, yeah, but Karen, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. So whether you're going to walk away from today and take action and have a look at your LinkedIn profile, or you're just going to start to be more active, the two questions I want you to ask yourself are, what do you want to be known for? And who are you trying to influence? And you must have this in the back of your mind before you spend time really on any platform. Linda, this rule applies to every platform.
This applies to your website, your everything, every sales letter, every email that you want to write, guys. This is pretty, and you will have seen, if you didn't watch the webinar that we did with Clive a fortnight ago on identifying your ideal client, about getting that clarity about who it is and what you need to know. Go back and watch that one, because you need to know who it is that you're trying to attack and what you want to be known for. And the rest of it is all noise. And noise that's not going to attract the right people to you.
And the more focus you can get. So I'll use myself as an example. What do I want to be known for? So while there may be other parts of things that I do during the week, ultimately the conversations that I want to be having on LinkedIn are around LinkedIn training. So when people think of me, apparently when I'm not in the room, they might refer to me as the LinkedIn lady. They might refer to me as other things too, but
I refer to you as a guru, but there you go.
Guru is such a big word. I don't know. I feel like I need to get my chimes out or something for that. But
we get you some with LinkedIn logos on them, or maybe LinkedIn can send you some. That'd be interesting.
So, but the implication of the LinkedIn lady one is LinkedIn being my area of sort of specialty, or my knowledge or expertise, whatever, or guru, whatever word you'd like to use. But the lady one is really important to me, Linda, because that demonstrates how I really navigate LinkedIn, and it's about relationship building principles, good manners, treating people with respect, not being transactional. So you need to think about your version of that. When people recommend you, or when people are thinking about your services or your business, what is it that, like, just make it really, really easy for people to refer you. So even when I go into networking meetings and people have got these well-prepared pitches, and people will say to me, now what do you do? And I just say, I help people with LinkedIn. And it's just easy, and it's easy for them and it's easy for me. And so just really make sure that whatever it is for you, that you're engaging on that type of content and adding value, like Linda spoke about, with that kind of content. And then just think about your type of client. So and when we talk about ideal client, Linda, too, I like to talk about not just ones that will benefit from your service, but people that you really like working with.
Yes.
Like the type of people that you do your best work with. So for me, that tends to be more slower pace, less tech savvy. They're probably either highly intelligent or highly skilled and experts in their field, but they're not that comfortable with traversing the online world. So they're the people that I work really well with. They tend to have an older age skew. They tend to be really good at building relationships and networks offline, but need to be shown how to develop relationships online. Now, you might think that's a funny way to describe your clients, but over time, I have really had a good think about who I do my best work with and who needs think bespoke services. And so I'm so ruthless about when I write my blogs, when I share my content, that I'm just talking to them. And I've had people attend my webinars.
But that's exactly it.
Yes.
From a marketer's point of view, from a PR person's point of view, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, because Why? Can you explain why? Because I think people get a bit lost in it.
From the point of view, and I'm happy to explain why on that one. So guys, for most of you who know me, you've seen BBB. From the point of view of what we wanted to do is, I reached that point in my career that I know the PR and marketing game. I know marketing, I know branding, I know all of that sort of stuff, but I want to get a small business owner or someone who's got a business brand or something that they want to take it to market, because I love seeing you kick those goals and take it to market. I had a guy come and approach me for corporate work 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm sitting there going, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave my businesses, my area of expertise to talk to these corporate people. And none of my stuff will talk to corporate people. Most of my blog posts now are, how do you use a tool to do this, or how do you tap into your own business message? And for the same reason as you, they're the clients that I want to work with. So they're the people I'm going to speak to. I'm not going to speak to everyone. And the reason I'm not going to speak to everyone is because I don't want everyone. And if I spend my time having to filter by speaking out to those who don't fit, then I'm wasting my time. As would you. Like, I'd much rather go and hang out with Charlotte and play with her for a while. than waste my time talking to not the right client market. I'm happily refer you through to someone else who's the right fit. And that's why I say to people, if you want to talk LinkedIn, you're talking to Karen, you're talking to Joe, you're talking to the people who know LinkedIn on a regular basis. I talk Facebook, come talk to me. But yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that that comes with, I think it's easy for us to say that.
Yep.
I think it comes on the journey of being a business owner where you get more and more comfortable with that. And we all just get stung by that bad experience with a particular type of client, and you quickly learn
that that's not the one for you. And look, there's a thread in BB today. Have you been bullied by your clients? That's going on in there. If you guys, and I'll take the opportunity while I've got most of you watching to say this, if you're getting bullied by your client, the fit is not right. Okay, the fit is not 100% right for you, and it takes a lot of guts. And and like I know it, and Karen, you will have done the same thing, to say, "No, the money's not worth it.
Yeah,
this person is not worth it. I don't need your business." But the moment you start saying that in your business, guess what happens? You get the flow of the good business. You get the flow of the right business, because all of a sudden you're not going, "I don't need this." I'm taking this because I need it I need to pay the bills. And I know it's a really hard spot to get yourself out of, but the moment you say, "No, I am worth it, and I am worth this and my team." And I put it down to my days of saying, would I have asked one of my staff to do it? And now that I have a team of people again, I say, would I put my staff through this? If the answer is no, then don't put yourself through it.
And so this is all about knowing what you want to be known for, who you're trying to influence, but then also proudly celebrating your story. So this is what I think the opportunity is with LinkedIn, and it's really about finding your voice and telling your story. So you've probably done the work on the website, you've done the work on the About Us, and I just want you to embrace, especially in that summary section of your LinkedIn profile, this idea of talking about who you work well with, the sort of things that you've achieved, and being comfortable standing in your space of who you are and not worrying about your competitors or other people. I mean, there's lots of LinkedIn trainers out there, and we all have, you talk about Joe, we have this lovely community of referring work to each other.
Exactly.
But we all know what we do well and who we help. So here's a company page. So hopefully Joe talked about this and you have some familiarity with setting up a company page. There's a lot of debate given the profile analytics that have come through with the LinkedIn redesign, and everyone's loving the vanity measures, and I can see all these people looking at my profile. If you're building an organisation for the longer term, I would strongly encourage you to post content from your company page. If I am connected to you, so if Linda and I are connected, it doesn't give me permission to sell to Linda. Whereas if you choose to follow my company page and I'm posting from it regularly, I can send more sales and marketing messages from that.
BBB has one. I'll try and find the link for it.
Now, you do need to have a follower strategy. So I've grown those 620 followers over time. Just like Facebook, it's difficult to get followers. But if you're providing value-adding content, and you're connecting all of your channels. So if you're sharing with others that you are on other platforms, and you really think through a clear content marketing strategy, that will build over time. And depending on who you're working with, for me, it's important for the organisations I work with that they see my team, that they are understanding that what we do and how we help. So that's the first one, branding.
Yeah.
And I think people are probably quite comfortable with all of that. There may or may not have been any
Guys,
sort of
if you have a company page, let's build our network and all of those sorts of things. Yeah, the BBB one's such a good one. It doesn't really have a huge amount of likers on it, but it is there.
But it's important that it's there, because for your team, it needs to have their logo. So at the very least, you need to have your logo there. You're claiming your real estate on LinkedIn. They can click through to your website. So that's fine. It can just be a directory.
Do nothing other than just make sure the guys that that we're human. So here we go. Here's a BBB one. It's hopefully there for you to have a look at. But jump in, put your LinkedIn pages so we can connect that way as well.
So that's your company page, and that's how you get your logo on your profile and your team's profiles. So professional networking is the next one, and what I really love with LinkedIn. So it's all about continuing the conversation. And I don't believe you can live on a digital diet alone, Linda.
Oh, no way.
So while I love conversing in Facebook groups late at night like everyone else does, I also really enjoy that face-to-face stuff. So I'm attending, YTM event tonight. I think Bespoke's a sponsor of YTM. local Bayside, Karen Powell. I think she's part of your business summit.
Karen is part of the Schools with Summit this year. So if you want to learn about networking, you need to be attending the summit, guys.
Yeah. So I do stuff in tandem with Karen, because we talk about this idea of you need to use LinkedIn to continue those online conversations. You can't have them in isolation. You also need to network face to face. So when you're thinking about how to grow your network on LinkedIn and stay top of mind, these are the key things I want you to be thinking about and to take away from today. So have a connection criteria. So often I'll go into people's LinkedIn profiles to update them. They've got 25 invitations to connect. Like, what's that about? And
Kylie's just saying that she's had some amazing leads on the Facebook Live, before I forget it. Amazing leads coming through LinkedIn, but she needs to be there more regularly.
Yeah, and look, yes.
As a 52-week marketing challenge member, I know you have access to Missing Letter. Program it so some of that content is going across. Some of your blog post content's going across with Missing Letter.
And you can brand all your Missing Letter stuff now.
I know.
It's so good. I wasn't a fan because it was all coming out sort of blue and white, and I could tell it was Missing Letter. And now I'm a fan. Yeah, so really do. Yes, there's leads. There's amazing leads. And here's the thing about having a connection criteria. So it's a lovely little segue. If someone sends me an invitation to connect, people go, I don't know why they're connecting with me. I don't know them. It's like, hang on. If they're introverted, if they're of a certain age and prefer to contact with you online, it could be a lead. It's an opportunity for you so I have a follow-up ritual. So my criteria is you need to transact in a country. You need to live in a country I transact with. You need to have a headshot photo, and you need to have, say, 100 connections. But I'm quite an open networker, and then I'll have a follow-up ritual over the course of the next week where I'll say thanks for the recent invitation to connect. If they're not really a target, I'll probably just say, look, you might also like to follow Pink Bespoke's company page. So there we go. I'm building up my follower strategy or my number of followers to my page. But generally, I'll just say, how can I help? And probably 3 or 4 out of 10 will say, oh, I got your name from, I read one of your blogs, I heard you, and they're wanting to get into a conversation with me. So just look at that sun. We're just going to have to put up with it. Just make sure that you do have a connection criteria and that you're responding within 3 to 7 days, that you're accepting that invitation to connect or not. Please don't have them sitting in your inbox, because as far as I'm concerned, that's like being at a face-to-face networking event and someone walking up and handing you a card and you're not responding. I know. You really, please. So be active. So just be on LinkedIn. Everyone, if you haven't downloaded it onto your phone, get the app out of your social media category, pull it out onto your main page. Yes. And make sure that you're looking at LinkedIn quite regularly. Profile views, Linda, are probably my favourite networking tool on LinkedIn. Yes. So you need to have a premium account, guys. And I know it's quite an expensive monthly investment, but if your clients are playing there, it's probably worth it. Probably.
And look, I haven't yet, purely because I don't have the time. And I say that quite honestly, but yes, for Clive, it is part of our strategy to have him using LinkedIn more. And maybe
it's amazing. So what I do
to use LinkedIn more.
But so people are looking at your profile. So LinkedIn will tell you with a premium account, with free accounts, you can only see the last 5 people and then it blocks and it doesn't show you for the next month. But with premium accounts, and I'm not saying Sales Navigator, you could just get business premium. Which is not as expensive, and you can trial it for the first 30 days. And please don't do that until you've made these changes that we've talked about today, and then get full value from it. And just commit to yourself that you're going to do it. Do the free trial and then jump out if you don't think it's worth it. But with profile views, Linda, I just look at who's viewed my profile and then reach out to them and start a conversation. Send them an invitation to connect. Hey, LinkedIn told me you viewed my profile. I thought I'd reach out, and rarely do people say no. And they'll go, oh yeah, actually I heard your name mentioned, or I've got a couple of questions around LinkedIn. It's like it's an inquiry often.
Absolutely. And they're checking you out. So
yeah.
So it's just Facebook, you'd retarget them with an ad. So why not try and connect with them?
LinkedIn, you can see them and you can see them. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool that some people don't know about. So my next thing is choose 3 topics. So you know how you were just saying about missing letter and you could post, and I'm just mindful that some people haven't got their content plan sorted. They may not have their website where they want it to be. So this idea of posting, they're not even blogging as regularly as they could be. So, excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip of water.
Go for it.
Just got to fill up my water. Excuse me.
Now, guys, in the chat box, I did put the link that Ben gave all of our members to get a 50% discount for missing letter in the chat for you to be able to do it. I will come back and add all of those links to the Facebook Live later because I can't multitask that well.
It was you. That's where I got missing letter from. I just remembered.
I know. It was my lovely. My lovely, lovely, lovely.
I just remember that's how I found out about it, through one of your very high value links. So
that was one of my sleep deprived. I'm awake at 3 a.m. Oh, this will be my news feed. Let's go find this bright shiny object.
No, yes, we all do that. I've been told by my team you're not allowed to do anything with those bright shiny objects for at least 6 months.
I'm not. No.
No.
That's why I started BBB. It's because I can now have a regular excuse to go play.
Yeah, well played. You're playing to your strengths and your interests. So the choose 3 topics things is really around, let's just say you don't have a regular content plan and you're not posting content, and that's okay. I actually think there's some things you can do on LinkedIn if you're active and responding to messaging. Is I want you to think about the 3 things as they relate to what you want to be known for and who you're trying to influence. So as you see information come through your news feed, I want you to be liking and commenting on that and adding genuine value. So be collegiate, collaborative, add genuine value. So I don't mean comment on what people had for lunch or comment on the quiz or comment on rants. I mean comment intelligently and add value to discussions that are coming through your feed that relate to your area of expertise.
Absolutely.
That's a good way to start conversations. It's a good way to stay top of mind, so you are being actively referred. So things I might comment are LinkedIn. I've got a bit of a hobby for introversion and ambiversion, because I call LinkedIn networking for introverts.
Very much so, though.
But a lot of my clients are in that space, so that means a lot to them. And then I talk generally about content marketing. So that's the type of content I'll engage with. And I'm a big messenger, send messages on LinkedIn. So I'll tend to, if I see a great article, so in the good old days when my father networked, he'd read the paper and cut out an interesting article and mail it to a friend. Well, on LinkedIn, there's all these great articles coming through. If there's someone that you're in a conversation with or that you're thinking about that you want to start a conversation with, and it's, you know, a potentially a dormant lead, you could get an interesting article that you've read through an authoritative source on LinkedIn, share it with them via messaging and say, hey, I thought of you. I thought you might find this of interest. So there's, you know, just really think about your topics that you're going to focus on, and it will keep you top of mind. So the final one is content marketing, and I've talked about that a lot, and I think this is probably your happy place too.
This is my happy place. But what I would like to say to anyone who's seeing the words content marketing right now, please don't
What does it mean?
Don't freak out.
So how would you, I mean, I can give my definition. What's your definition of content?
I think, look, so yeah, it's really, actually, it'll be interesting to see both of our perspectives on content marketing. From my point of view, your content marketing is your conversation marketing. It's about your educating and your empowering, and the tiniest little bit of that is your sales-based marketing, okay? The rest of it is all about educating and empowering. Karen, I don't know if you saw last year, we ran the Educate Your Market Challenge. It's now there for everyone to take on a regular basis. But it was all around 28 different ways that you could educate your market rather than sell to your market. Yeah. And if you educate them first, you have A, an informed client, B, a better client who's actually made a choice, not a stab in the dark going, I'm going to hire because I've just gone, that one there. You've made an informed and educated choice for your clients to come in and work with you. So I talk about content marketing most probably along the lines of education marketing. And that is taking, if you all are sitting here going, oh, I don't know what to say, you know, everyone knows, go to the most basic things that you forget to tell people, because they are what they need to know first.
And I'm constantly surprised that the blogs that do the best are the fundamentals, LinkedIn fundamentals. So I'll tell you a funny story about content marketing. I launched my business, didn't have a sales and marketing budget, and I heard Cass McCulloch, who now runs the Writerly app.
Yes, Cass, yep.
Some of you might know a beautiful Cass, and I'd never heard of the terminology of content marketing. And I was there with some other women in business, and this sort of woman got up and started talking about content marketing. I thought, that's bullshit. Excuse my language, everyone. How can you possibly write, like I'm a trained marketer, I did marketing degree at RMIT. How can you possibly write a blog, talk about, you know, give free advice, and how can that possibly serve your business? And, you know, 8 years on, my website's got really high domain authority. That's sort of a technical term that my web people help me with, but I have actively stayed in my space and shared content, and really my whole philosophy of how I've built my business has been a content marketing philosophy. So I kind of tried it because I thought, well, it's a free way. I've got lots of ideas, I've got lots of advice, I've got lots of tips. And I'm not a big video strategist. So I know a lot of video, and that's awesome for their business if that works for them, but I'm a lover of the written word. So I think education marketing is what it is. But it's basically going back to this idea of who's my ideal client? what are the problems that I've got going on at the moment? I'm going to help them deal with it.
Yep,
and I'm just going to
exactly.
talk to that. Like, that's it. And how, whatever version you do as a tip. I do LinkedIn tips on Instagram and
Absolutely.
Facebook. I do a weekly blog, whatever your version of that is, that's all it is. Like, don't overthink it. But for me personally, it has been the thing that has grown my business, because when people ring me, they generally don't ask me to tell them. And I will often say, I'm not going to sell LinkedIn to you. Like, if you want to work with me, you've made the decision to.
Yep, exactly.
You've read my blogs, you understand that I'm here to help you. And so a good content marketing strategy is like a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week online salesperson. It will do the work for you. So let's look at that and how it relates to LinkedIn. Here's some examples of how you can use content marketing on LinkedIn. So you can publish LinkedIn articles via your LinkedIn profile. Now, this is an easy one, Linda. If people are already blogging, they should just go back and choose their most popular blog topics and repurpose them. Like, that's it.
Look, I've had a bit of strategy with that on LinkedIn too, that I don't take the whole article. So I might take some key points out of an article, summarize it. I know, but it works.
But then you want to drive them back to...
Driving back to the website.
Yeah.
So especially if there's a download or something related to the blog post, I'm not popping that all in LinkedIn. I don't know, Karen's sitting here going, this is LinkedIn.
I'm saying nothing.
But I tend to do whole posts. So it's not, that would be 1 in maybe 10. That I would do in that particular one. But bearing in mind that your whole LinkedIn article, if you've got a 2,000 word blog post, break it up, make it 3 or 4 LinkedIn articles so that it is also bite-sized pieces, because I find my time on LinkedIn is short. It's not reading a 2,000 word blog post or a 1,500 word blog post.
That's interesting. So what I would do with that is break the blog into 4 or 5 micro stories from your LinkedIn profile, and I would put 2,000 to 3,000 words in your LinkedIn article, because the research that's coming back from Neil Patel is that LinkedIn articles that are really long, with lots of, Rebecca von Rosen said the same thing, that are really long, that have got lots of visuals. Now, again, Linda, it comes down to your market. If your market likes sound bites, that's not going to work for you. But it just depends, and you've got to test it. That's the whole point. So and what a micro story is, because people will hear me say, what's she talking about? So a content plan via your LinkedIn profile, you'll see a lot of people do this really well. So you can either upload a video, a native video, and I would really ask you to put some thought into your video strategy. You have Jen DeLacy that works with you in your community.
Yes, I do. Yep, Jen.
She can really give you some tips on. I want you to do that professionally. I don't want you just to go, hey, I'm going to put the... I think I'm going to do a video today and not think about it. I really want you to think about adding value.
Nikki's just saying this is so useful and you're welcome. Yeah, and look, you'll see, we work together, we have the same philosophy, but there is differing opinions on how to do articles.
No, I'm glad it's helpful. And this is like, we all come from a different place, and ultimately some of my clients are intellectual snobs, so they love and I say that affectionately,
the long article,
not offending anyone, they do want that longer written word, and that's okay. And some people love my tips too. It's like a visual that just has a very simple LinkedIn tip. And
I'm a visual person, so I love video and tips. So they work. And so
you have to try it all and see what your community are engaging with, and people will tell you what they find valuable and what they don't. So a content plan via a LinkedIn profile is really thinking about, okay, well, if I posted something once a day, if I repurposed my blog for the missing letter, or if I did tips, or I did whatever it is, it can be a visual. LinkedIn doesn't. So the LinkedIn algorithm at the moment loves video, but you won't see me posting video. So just because the algorithm loves it, that's fine, LinkedIn, but you'll see me having little micro stories. So I'll sort of talk about a particular issue. You can upload from your phone. You can repurpose your blogs. There's so much you can do. So have a look at the activity that comes through my LinkedIn profile, and you'll start to get a really strong sense of my content plan. You can also have a content plan via your company page, so you can post that via third-party scheduling tools. You can do more sort of, follow us. Did you know we're also on, Facebook, or are you signed up to our newsletter? And you can pin to top, just like you can with your company. And like anything. And you should also be connecting your channels. So if you're having lots of conversations on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram with people, just take the time every couple of months to go over onto your LinkedIn profile and have a look if you're actually connected with that person, because it's, Instagram especially is quite, you can't really get a read on who the person is, especially if they're private. Whereas you could look up their name and go over, and I have started so many conversations with people. There's actually a recommendation on my LinkedIn profile from a client. It was a corporate client, and she said, I Insta-stalked Karen for 3 months before engaging her for LinkedIn training. And this is what people do. They might kind of see you, look at you on another channel, especially if you're on more than one platform. So I just would encourage you to connect your dots with your content marketing too. Analytics. So what I'm showing you here is something you all have. Now this is
Love
LinkedIn.
Stats.
Say that again.
I love stats.
Oh, so do I. And look, you really, if you're going to take content marketing seriously, you have to look at the stats. So one of the things I had to do in the last 12 to 18 months was get some professional photography, because every time I put a picture up of myself or, you know, me training, people are quite interested in engaging with me, which I found really confronting, Linda. Like, that's
look, I did the same thing. You know, you see me now, but absolutely, when I came from an industry similar to you, where we marketed the brand, we never marketed the person. We marketed the brand. So, you know, I set up Family Capers, I set up Media Connections, I set up ThoughtSpot PR. It was my team that put my logo and my thing in front of me one day and said, there you go, there's your professional brand. And it was Ramona Lever who did my first lot of professional photos.
Beautiful, Ramona. Yeah.
I know. And she's like, no, we have to do this for you. So she's responsible for the trademark red lipstick now everywhere.
I know, we've both got our red lipstick on.
I know.
The key to looking fresh in a webinar. So this is your analytics that you'll get from your dashboard. So you can see this, and only you can see this if you sort of scroll down from your LinkedIn profile. And what's really important about this is who's viewed your profile. So that's that step that I talked about, clicking into that. Post view, so you can get some feedback on what people are engaging with. And search appearance is a really important one, especially if you're thinking about what do I want to be known for and who am I trying to influence. So I always click through the search appearances, and there's two things that I want to be checking that people are searching for me on. One is LinkedIn and one is personal branding. So it's like keywords, Linda. You can see what people are searching for you on. So that's a really good way for you to unlock LinkedIn for your business, to really understand what people are engaging with your content marketing. So this is still under that content marketing banner. And then finally, this is the analytics from the company page. So people generally don't spend a lot of time in here, and I do encourage you to spend more time in here and look at your analytics, look at your followers. One of the leading legal recruiters that I manage their online presence, when we first took over managing their account, we noticed that a lot of their followers were from the US, because there's the name of their organisation in the US. So we had to really work hard on the content plan to make sure we were talking to lawyers in Australia.
Yep, perfect.
And so this does, you know, information is power. So the three things, the first one is branding, the second one is professional networking, the third one is content marketing. It's not a big fancy word, it's just providing value to your clients and whatever, and community. And also it's encouraging likes and comments so people see your activity. So that's the LinkedIn journey. I've really taken you through understanding branding and networking today. In terms of daily rituals, make sure you get LinkedIn on your phone 5 minutes a day, ladies and gents. And I do
for those of us who do school pickup, it's a very good school pickup activity.
Oh, definitely. I will leave at 3 and sit there and have my LinkedIn I know lots of people do that, but sit there and have their LinkedIn conversations on the days that I'm doing pickup.
I wonder how much the stats go up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I know, it's funny because Sprout Social just did this thing on, you know, the best time, and I think so many people post at 3 because they know that parents are potentially sitting there, but we're not all parents. I know that.
We aren't all parents, and because I know in recruiting days our best times were like 7 in the morning and 5 at night. So catching the people on public transport.
Yeah. And just think about when you post video, because people don't want to use data, so they'll want to do it from home. That's
Nikki said to me she's never thought of popping these cross-promoting her social media stuff with people, and it's a no-brainer. Look, connect
your channels. It's a goodie, isn't it? It's
a big one. Guys, if you're using a third-party programming, whether it's MeetEdgar, SmarterQ, whatever it is that you're using, number one, if you don't do anything else from today, is go and pop in a category of evergreen posts that remind people to connect with you on other platforms. Because guess what? If one of these platforms die, which they can do, and go away one day.
That's so true. And Linda, we own 2 assets in our business beyond ourselves and our technical experience. One is our website.
Yes.
One is our email. The other is our email list. So
exactly.
You have to be so mindful of these third-party platforms that they are actively working on your behalf, or you're driving content there that's bringing people back to your website. And also just think about email signups. If you've gone to the effort to create an opt-in, are you communicating that on your socials, on your profile? Probably more your company page and your profile. Be really careful. you know, from your profile, you can ask people to follow your company page where you might do it.
Yes.
Now, what I've got here is just the last page now, based on that content marketing principle, which I've clearly embraced since hearing Cass say it. And I've written a blog. It's really sweet. I wrote a LinkedIn article about sort of my journey with content marketing. And I had this sort of milestone moment where Cass at the end said, Karen, I think you can call yourself a content marketer now. I'm like, okay. No, it was lovely. It was sort of a really nice moment. And I've kept in contact with her because she was being very influential on my journey. So if you go to my website, if you click on the Start Here section.
I've just popped some links into as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I have written a blog, mostly about LinkedIn. I do have a rant occasionally. I'm a parent, as I described to some of you at the start. So you will sometimes hear me talk about that. I have a mother who has Alzheimer's. So you will also hear me talk about my experience with that. Yep. I do a sort of annual letter, but generally speaking, I stay in my lane on my topics. And so I write once a week, and the Start Here section has really categorized all the blogs I've written in the last 5 years. So one of them is looking at your individual LinkedIn strategy. One's looking at your organizational LinkedIn strategy. I have a content marketing, I might call it online content solutions or something category now. And then for those of you that have people in your life thinking about their next career move, I've also got that career planning section, which I talk a lot about, which is a part of our business, which I haven't talked about today because it's not related really to business owners.
As such, yes.
No, well, but we've all come from that place. I mean, Linda, you're
absolutely.
I'm ex-corporate. So it's really for those people that are thinking about making that move. Just there's lots of career planning, mid-career planning now, because that's focused on my ideal client, mid-career, not graduate.
Yes,
and here's our online resources. So Linda will talk about this a little bit more, but all of the things I've shared with you today, people go, yeah, that's great in principle, Karen, but how do I actually do it? So I've taken the time to develop some video. So I do video, but it's in a closed space, hidden behind a firewall of training. So this is delivered via our website. It's self-paced learning. It's me. It's very much this format. 4 modules, video tutorials, downloads, templates, step-by-step guides. It's packed with value. So 3 of the modules are really focused on that LinkedIn profile and really taking through understanding. I've got a template that you can download. I go live on LinkedIn and show you exactly how to make all the changes. Turn off that very important, do not notify your network.
Yes.
Which is very important. And then I've also got some guides on developing a follower strategy for your company page, how to set up a company page, looking at your analytics. So all the stuff I've kind of covered off today, but some people really like that self-paced learning. You can access it for up to 12 months.
Well done. Awesome.
So that's available. Well, I know it was a huge mountain to climb. You do this all the time.
The link is in there. The link is in there, guys, for you to be able to take up that profile option. Now, Karen, there is also the company page and essentials course and a consult with you as well. Yeah, so there's also one available that has this plus me for 1 hour in Zoom, and that's quite heavily reduced consulting rate to what you'd normally pay if you just sort of booked me via the website. So it's really just a thank you for booking the course. And really I encourage people that take up that offer. So that's $579. I encourage people to take that up to sort of make their way through the modules, do as much of the work as they can, and then that hour at the end is really booked with me. And if you tell me in advance that you've done the work on your profile and your company page, I'll actually, before that 1 hour session, go and read all your stuff as well as probably your website, and then go into that session. Fantastic. What a great offer, guys. You don't jump on both of those offers. Now I'm just jumping into, because I'm getting questions on the Facebook Live as well. So so I'll put that
questions. Any questions? Fire away, guys.
Now we have asked, are you LinkedIn certified? Karen, is one of the questions.
No, I'm an independent LinkedIn consultant. So I am an outlier from LinkedIn. I show you how to use a lot of the free features from LinkedIn. I've been known to ask LinkedIn not to attend meetings with my clients because they're really, really salesy. So LinkedIn are a for-profit organisation, and if you've ever dealt with a LinkedIn individual, you will know that they will do everything they can to get you to pay for premium. So I'm not endorsed at all. Pardon?
They are a business, I suppose.
They are a business, no, and it's absolutely fine. But I have been into, so I don't have an alliance. There's no LinkedIn certification available. There is definitely a global LinkedIn lady that works very, very closely with LinkedIn and does a lot of really hardcore B2B stuff. So you can look up Viveka von Rosen. if you want to sort of have a look at her. But there's no LinkedIn accreditation. And so I'm not saying I don't like LinkedIn with my sort of, there for profit and everything, but really I do take very much to teach you how to fish approach. So I know how LinkedIn thinks. I've been on the platform for a very, very long time. So no, not certified, work independently. So I am a certified teacher. I'm VIT registered, secondary trained. I've got my Cert 4 training assessment. I've got my Bachelor of Business Marketing and a Diploma of Management. So I've worked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. It sounds impressive, but it was just a whole other study. But and I've worked in business and I've worked in trade marketing and strategic marketing for a long time. And you'll know from hearing how I speak and how I am and the information I've shared today what I'm like.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, that is awesome. I've just popped the links into the Facebook post as well. Just coming back to Zoom now, because there's too many screens here today. And popping into the chat here. If you've got any last minute questions, feel free to ask Karen and I either via the Q&A or down the bottom. Okay, so Kelly Lawson has said that she's got both a personal and a business profile. Should more time be put into effort to the content for the business page?
Both are important. Again, it depends on your goals. I would have a base plan for your company page. If you've only got a low number of followers, really your effort needs to go into developing more followers. And that needs to happen offline. So it needs to happen via your website, via your email signature. I do have a company page strategy guide, so 7 tips to getting more followers. So if she wants to email me or message me, I can send that to her. Both are important. And so you need to use tools like Linda has mentioned. Meet Edgar is my favourite tool. So because I've written a blog for so long, I have Evergreen content moving through.
I've got some details for you guys from Meet Edgar. I'll grab that one for everyone.
Yeah, Meet Edgar's amazing. So there's also best time. I've written a blog on best times to post on LinkedIn, which comes from Sprout Social Insights. Now, I find with my career changes, Sunday is the best time to post on LinkedIn, but you need to look at your analytics. So look both. Look at
market guys there, because there is no ideal time for every. I say the same thing about Facebook. Everyone goes, "Oh, ideal time to post," and I'm like, the ideal time to post is when your market's there, and the only way you're going to find that out is by playing and watching your insights.
And read your analytics. So to answer that person's question too, my focus would be on getting a baseline content plan up and really looking at how she engages with her LinkedIn profile. So you can do a lot of liking and commenting and messaging without necessarily putting content up. She could also be liking, sharing and commenting on her own company page content that comes up on her feed. That's a good trick.
I never thought
of that. Doing both.
Let's get everyone doing that one. Okay, so guys, in the chat boxes, I'm popping in now the webinar, and when we talked about content marketing and strategy, Megan from Meet Edgar went through this in huge amounts of detail with everyone. So I'm popping that into the chat box as well now, and I'll pop all the links.
Is so worth the investment. I just adore it as a platform, and it just allows me to have total control over. People say, "Oh, you're always online." It's like, no, I've got a really well curated library of value-adding content.
And you guys have evergreen content. You have tips, like when Karen and I were talking about when we were talking about tips, the content tips that you keep putting out for Instagram and those sorts of things. Meet Edgar is so close to having Instagram auto posting and all of that sort of stuff, so that you can get it all working in the right direction. And
Buffer has it. I also use Buffer.
Yeah, Buffer's another good one. That's another good one out there. So it's so close to being able to do those sorts of things. Robin Harrison said, what do you think about using text in your banner to build your brand building?
Does she mean background image? He or she mean background image?
Background
text?
image, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. And a lot of people do it really well. The only thing I don't like about that, if it's your LinkedIn profile, is that 60% plus users view your LinkedIn profile from their phone. So that's still centered.
Yep.
So I don't love the LinkedIn background image, and that's why you see mine's just got the wall with the vine leaves, which is consistent with some of my other platforms, because the text, I could never get the position right. So if you can get the position right, I think it's a great idea, but make sure you're looking from the phone. Mobile.
If you go to mine now, Robin, there is the creating communities with Facebook banner on the back of my profile. But it is being done very much so that it's all black on the outside borders, and it's literally just a centered image that works mobile friendly. But it takes a lot.
Yes.
Just ask our design team, because I want them to design one for the Small Business Skills Summit. And they're sitting there looking at me going, you're a crazy lady.
There's that thing. No.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
I
big
was like,
summit.
I just want it up there. And they're like, it's not going to happen. I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll work something out eventually. Okay, guys, if you've got any last minute questions, please feel free. Susan's asking us here, how effective is your profile page on LinkedIn algorithms if it's not completed?
Less effective. So the rules are that you will always preference a paid account.
Yep.
The more you fill in, the better. So there's a thing called the social selling index, and LinkedIn will. I should get it up. I'll put it in the group later on, Linda.
Yep.
So LinkedIn will measure your effectiveness based on that. So you'll get your all-star rating. So you need to optimize key areas of your profile. Go for all-star.
Yep.
That's sort of where you're aiming. And then it will look at how often you engage. It's 4 measures. So it's how often you reach out to people, accepting invitations to connect, posting content, liking and commenting on others. So they're very sophisticated algorithms, but definitely if you don't have your summary filled in, you don't have your experience section filled in, you don't have your skills filled in, you don't have recommendations, you will go down the pecking order. And I have actually typed in people's names. Like, I've definitely got a profile. I've typed in their name and I've had to be really specific, like Melbourne, their role, their organisation, to find them, because they just had not much information on their profile.
So like with everything, guys, if you're going to get onto the platform and you've got your real estate and you're going to make this part of your active process, fill in the details. The more you give, the more you're going to get back.
Yeah. It's like feeding a hungry beast.
I knew. Like feeding that social media beast that goes and details. And then remember, and the other tip for LinkedIn, especially because I have been interviewed so many times and they've got my bio off my LinkedIn profile instead of my interview profile, and then the BBB numbers have been way out, is put in your diary once a quarter and task to go back and check that your bio is up to date.
Yes.
All of that
Tend to your LinkedIn garden. I call that. That makes people laugh.
I don't mind tending to the garden. I just forget to go and update the numbers.
Yes, no, I get what you're saying. And so my counsel is generally don't put numbers.
Yes.
You know, I'd sort of go 25. What's it up to at the moment?
Yeah, we'll be 25,000 inside the next month. So,
I'd sort of be going 25,000 plus. You know, that way sort of.
Where I got
That's amazing.
When we hit 20,000 and I was interviewed on radio and they said 15,000, I'm like, no, there's an extra 5K.
But you didn't tend to your LinkedIn garden. That's the point of that. So I'm really having fun with you.
But the publicist in me said, I sent you a bio.
Yes, but people just delay things,
guys, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's lessons. But you know what? I'm still glad I learned that lesson. I'm still glad that I was able to show people on air on that particular one, because we were talking about online branding. I was like, see, you will make mistakes, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have we got any other questions there, Linda?
I think we are question free. Everyone's saying thank you. Thank you, everyone, for turning up today. Karen, I thank you for coming in and sharing your tips and your expertise on LinkedIn, because regardless of if you think you know LinkedIn, I really think that you pick up new things all the time from different people and different areas, and, you know, just even conversations that we have. Guys, in the chat boxes, you have got the links for Karen's courses to be able to get in there and do it. There's been lots of links shared today. I will pop them into the replay. Thank you all for joining us. If you haven't seen it already, we are going offline with skills webinars for the next 2 months. And the reason we're taking July and August off is because we're working on the Small Business Skills Summit, and we're going to bring to you 60 presenters over 11 days in August. I knew. Yeah, see, bright, shiny object and crazy.
I saw the list. Like, I saw the fabulous people.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like, wow.
And at the moment, tickets are $199 on early bird rate for you to be able to get in there and see these presenters. Now, you don't have to be there on the day, but if you're there on the day and you can answer questions, it's all about bringing the business summit to you online so that you have the ability to learn from these thought leaders and the mindset in your own timeframes and around your business, because I know what it's like. And I know what it's like even when you go to a workshop, Karen, or a seminar and those sorts of things, and then everything's broken off into 20 other rooms and you don't get to see all the presenters. Well, that's the whole reason this summit is here. You've got 3 months afterwards to catch up as well, guys.
Yeah.
So
because you just need to, like, you have best intentions, but then if you can access the materials afterwards, that's gold.
Yep. So we've got it there for you for 3 months. I popped the links in the chat. I'll pop them in the replay box as well. But if you head to the BBB website, thing in the menu that says Small Business Skills Summit. So we'd love to see you all there. Karen, once again, thank you for joining us. I'd love to have you on later in the year because I know there's so much changing again within LinkedIn. So when we hit back in September, October, bringing you back again and just catching up with some of the latest changes and maybe even having a bit more detailed look at those business pages.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
That would be awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great week. And the replay will be up later on this afternoon. Bye.
Bye.